Hi, I'm Dan Fazio with GI Jobs. Welcome to our Success After Service series, where we talk to veterans who have successfully transitioned from the military into civilian careers. Today, we're talking to Kenny Rains, and he's an Army veteran who now serves as Director of Intermodal Customer Logistics with Norfolk Southern, which is based out of their headquarters in Atlanta. Good morning, Kenny. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Dan. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Well, let's start by talking about your military background. What branch did you serve in, and what was your MOS?
Sure. I was in the Army. My MOS was initially an 88 Mike, which is a truck driver, right? And over the progression of my career, I transitioned to an 88 November field, which is more transportation coordination management. So I did everything from doing convoys from point A to point B to coordinating the movement of people, supplies, and equipment across multiple areas of responsibility.
Gotcha. What were some of your duty stations?
I was primarily stationed at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. While there, I did do 3 deployments in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. I came down on orders 3 times, and each time they were canceled because of the deployment. But I came down on orders to go to Germany, which I anticipated going to. Again, it did not happen. Orders to Fort Drum, New York, which didn't really want to go there, so that was kind of fortunate. And then lastly, Fort Bliss down in Texas. So came down on orders multiple times, but did not go for the reason of deployments.
Okay. So when you decided to separate, what was your exit plan? What did you, what was your biggest challenge with that?
Yeah, so the tempo of deployments definitely played into it, right? So I began transitioning 2008, and if you can remember that was in the midst of the Great Recession, the collapse of the housing market and everything that came with that. So that was a little concerning. 2 young kids, right? Married, 2 young kids. So, the greatest concern was how am I going to support my family? But at the same time, I knew I needed to change career-wise. So I applied to over 30 different positions with 30 different companies, right? And Norfolk Southern was one of the couple of companies that actually reached out and extended the interview opportunity. Pun intended, I hopped on board and joined with Norfolk Southern.
So this has been your only post-military job? Well, post-military
Correct.
company,
Yep.
let's put it that way.
Cultures are very, very similar to where you join, you normally stay for prolonged periods of time. So I've been fortunate that when I did transition, I started here, and I've had a successful career to this point.
Yeah. So your current title is Director of Intermodal Customer Logistics. That's a mouthful. What does that actually mean? What do you do? What's a typical day in the life look like for you?
Yeah, so the way I explain it in simplistic terms, I'm the voice of customers internally. So within the organization, I communicate the needs of customers, and then I'm the voice of the organization externally, right? So when I'm in front of customers, I'm communicating our interest within Norfolk Southern itself, whether that's our transportation department, our intermodal operations department, or anything related to our company. So the voice of customers internally, I protect the customer's interest, and then externally, I protect the our company's interest. So day to day, for the most part, we're the when you need assistance with an issue, you're calling my team. So my team consists of 38 people. We do everything from tracking and tracing shipments to problem resolution. We get involved in anything that's systemic in nature when we start talking about maybe service challenges in certain lanes. So if you're moving between Atlanta and Chicago and we see repeated delays, hypothetically, right, my team would get involved there, do some analysis to see what the contributors are to the service challenges, and then work internally to resolve them. So a day to day, no 2 days are alike. I know that's cliche, but it is very true on the railroad. So my day ranges from touching base with my team first thing in the morning, making sure I'm abreast of any issues and communicating those as needed, providing support from a leadership standpoint, so development, mentorship, and training. Customer visits. I was actually in Chicago the last 2 days, meeting with customers, a series of customer phone calls, and anything else that happens to come up during the day.
Sounds like you keep plenty busy.
Oh, yes.
I have to ask, do you ever get to ride the trains?
I have. So I've been with Norfolk Southern for 17 years. I've been in, I believe, 14 different roles. In one of my previous roles, I was actually in the transportation department, and one of our responsibilities was actually to ride trains. So we would ride trains, communicate with our train crews, get to know them a little bit better, build on that relationship standpoint, right? So I've ridden several trains over the years, and that's a common question I actually get.
I'll bet. Yeah, I'm envious. I've always been a big fan of trains. I'd love to ride in the locomotive, but they typically don't allow that.
Not usually.
Yeah. So, how have your military skills and experience helped you in your civilian career?
Yeah, I would say, if you look at the Army values, right, the acronym leadership, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage, right? And you can pull any one of those Army values, and they directly relate to the civilian workforce, right? In my current role and previous roles, leadership was arguably the most important, especially when you're charged with leading other individuals, right? But I would say selfless service is a major part, in respect for others. That, you go back to the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated. That also applies, really in any aspect of life, but definitely here in this role. So understanding, planning, right, communication, and working with others. Those are probably the three key things that have definitely helped me during my transition into this point in my career.
What do you love most about your job?
You learn something new every day. And again, I know that's another one of those cliche things, but it definitely proves true on the railroad, because there are just literally so many different moving pieces. There's so many different departments within our organization, and you never truly master it. You may build your familiarity, but you never truly master it. And that retains and holds my interest, right? There's always something new to learn out here. And it may not be necessarily specific to our organization, but when you're meeting with the customer, you learn how what we do fits into their, whether a domestic supply chain, and a lot of our customers actually have a global supply chain, right? So how does our node support that customer in the wider global economy? So there's always something new to learn.
Okay. What advice would you give to other veterans who might be considering a career in this industry, or perhaps even at Norfolk Southern specifically? I know that Norfolk Southern and the large railroads in general, love to hire veterans.
Yeah, I think one of the natural hesitations when you're separating from service, at least for me, is what am I going to do, right? How's this new company? How am I going to fit in there? Right. So one, I would tell them to think big, right? Like what is your passion? What do you want to do? And even before you begin separating from your military organization, begin that process, right? So what is your passion? And then start working towards that passion before you get out, whether that's formal training, whether it's college courses or a degree, or anything that your branch may offer you towards that interest that you have. And then start applying, start reaching out. Definitely do your research and try to get a feel for the organization that you're interested in applying to. Try to understand what their culture is, right? LinkedIn is a very popular platform, of course, and there's a substantial opportunity for developing your network that way. Google the company you want to work for, find out who works there, and start messaging people in LinkedIn and try to understand what they like about the organization. A lot of times people won't come out and tell you what they don't like, but they will definitely tell you what they like, and you can start to understand if that will be a good fit for you. And then apply, right? Apply, go through the interview process, and fail fast, right? So that's one of the things that we do internally. Like if there's something you want to try out, try it. And if it fails, fail fast, learn from it and move on. So definitely do that as you begin your transition process and you begin to explore your civilian career. If you join an organization that doesn't work, don't stay there because you feel like you have to stay there. Learn from that opportunity and move on.
Well, that's great advice. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you'd like to talk about today?
Nothing comes to mind. I think again, I think there's a healthy fear, and I think at least for me in my experience, the culture within the Army was if you separate, it's going to be hard on you, and that's not the case, right? Be open-minded, take calculated risk, and do what you want to do. I think when you find something that you enjoy doing, it no longer becomes a job or this thing you have to do, and you actually look forward to doing it. And that's the world of difference right there.
Yeah, so true. Well, once again, great advice. Really appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk with us today. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Again, thank you for having me. And if there's anything else you need from me, don't hesitate to reach out.